Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Manzar Bros Gaming. Um, this is a special episode. I'm joined by Mike Kane
The
this
one and
time
only.
instead of Ray.
Yep, that's me, Mike Kane. Here I am, back again on another Manzari Bros production. What can I say?
Um, Mike is here to discuss gaming. Since we won't be having an E3, we decided we wanted to talk about, you know, a few different topics in the gaming world. Let's start with that crazy gameplay demo
Oh man.
with the Unreal Engine 5 from just a few short weeks ago.
Yeah, I know we're a couple weeks behind the curve on that one, but I just watched that for the first time about, I don't know, 2 minutes ago. And
Yeah, it's fresh. It's fresh. That's good.
yeah, I'm flabbergasted, man. That is, if that's what our tech demos are looking like for the Unreal 5 engine, I can't wait to see where it's going to go. Because I don't know if you remember, back before, like right before the PlayStation 3 came out, they released a tech demo of what the opening sequence of Final Fantasy VII Remade might look like. And it drove everybody into a tizzy because, at that point, fans had already been clamoring for a remake for years, and there was always rumors, but nothing had ever happened. And then that tech demo hit, and I felt the same way watching that, like I just did watching that Unreal 5, clip. It really kind of sends up a signal for what the new generation might look like. And we're getting to a point where, it's borderline indistinguishable. The characters still, you can kind of tell that they're, not exactly human, but those environments, man, I don't even know what to say. That was, it looked like I was looking at a cave.
Yeah, it genuinely looks like real life.
Yeah, they talk about photorealistic. It's that, I don't know how much closer you can really get. Although, can we also talk about why, like, I don't know why they felt the need to tell us the number of triangles so specifically. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
As
like,
a
like billions and billions or something.
Yeah, as a consumer of PlayStation 5 games, why does it matter to me that a room with 500 statues has like 13 billion triangles or something in it? Like,
Right, right.
I mean, I guess that video is probably tailored more towards, devs and graphics engineers and stuff, but
Right, people who understand like why that's so mind-blowing.
yeah, maybe we sound like idiots over here saying, "Oh, billions of triangles, what does that matter?" And other people are like, "Oh my god, what do you not understand? We used to only be able to do 5 triangles. Now we can do a billion."
I mean, that's fair. I think like Mario's model from Mario 64 had like maybe 5 polygons to make up the whole thing.
Yeah, and wasn't there something in the video about there not being a polygon cap anymore too?
Yeah, yeah. They were throwing a bunch of stuff. Like I can talk about like uh graphics from 20, 30 years ago, but try talking to me about graphics now and it's like, "Oh, it's way over my head at this point, man." It's insane how far the industry has come in genuinely such a short time.
Yeah, it's crazy the progression of technology, especially in this kind of field. I mean, even I don't know. It's one of those things where the PlayStation 1 came out in what 1999, 1998, something like that.
Um, Maybe a little earlier, but it's right around there. I think earliest would be like 96, 97.
Um, well, regardless, it released in the 90s, right? Like we know it released. Oh, 94. Wow, that's
Oh,
surprising.
Jesus.
Yeah, 94 in Japan and 95 in North America.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then so we're talking what, maybe about 25, 26 years, right? When you
Yeah,
look at the
yeah.
progression from where we were then to where we are now, what are we going to be talking about, even another 10 years from now at this point? It's just I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to get into like some crazy, uh, quantum theory shit here, but like there are. I've been watching a lot of that YouTube channel that describes complicated shit with a nice short video, and
With the little bird characters.
yep, yep, we all know
Kurzgesagt.
who I'm talking about.
Oh, we didn't want to. Okay, because they're not.
Well,
Hashtag not spawn. I gotcha.
whatever. No reason not to give him love and send people his way, right?
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah, Kurzgesagt is cool. Kurzgesagt is a great channel.
That is
You should
cool. It
definitely
is a
check
really
it out.
good channel. But I've been binging those recently, and there's theories on like how we could possibly be a civilization in a simulation like several times over already. And
Oh
like
yeah, Elon
we're
Musk is
just
on
gonna
about
get
that
to
too,
a
right?
point, huh?
I think Elon Musk talks about that a lot too. He's like, the chances of us living in base reality are like 1 in 800 bajillion or something.
Yeah, yeah, and like how eventually we here and now will get to a point where we just we either put ourselves into a simulation and it keeps going, or where we build something so advanced that it believes it's alive and living in its own, universe. And like we could be that potentially as well. We've gotten onto a whole new.
Well, yeah,
This is
I
a
mean,
whole different conversation, but
that's okay.
you know what I mean. Like graphics are getting to a point where, who knows, in 10, 20 years we could be having a conversation like this much more seriously, honestly.
Yeah, once, especially if VR comes to a point where it is literally indistinguishable from reality. I know that there are already companies. I don't know the names off the top of my head, but there are companies that work on technology where your brain signals can send input to a device, and it's like it moves it like as if you were moving your own hand.
Right.
We're probably going to see some crazy stuff. I mean, this, yeah, again, this is broadly speculative, and yeah, we've gone way off the mark here a little bit, I think. But
Well, I mean, Ready Player One. It's not too incredibly off the mark.
yeah,
To be honest.
something like those full dive suits, some kind of version of that where we can have fully immersive VR. I mean, that's as cool as that would be. I also think that would probably be like real not good news for human society. I don't know. I don't know if we can handle
humanity as
that.
a whole. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Because at what point do people say, "Fuck all this. I want to go.
Back to the
I'd rather
flesh
be
world.
there. I'd rather be there."
Yeah, no, yeah. What idiot is going to be like, yeah, let me spend my time in the meat world?
Spawn anything you want instantly, kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll be littered with microtransactions and, premium
Oh, of
subscriptions
course.
and.
You're going to be having corporate ads blasted into your brain.
Yeah, and that's, what could possibly go wrong there?
Mmm. But yeah, other video game topics. Let's see here.
Well, I have a question for you, Nick, and this is going to
yeah.
transition us pretty nicely, I think.
Okay,
um,
okay.
While we're recording this, I have my phone here next to me, and I've just gotten a Facebook message from my girlfriend in the other room. Dana, you're familiar.
Yes, yes.
and she's curious if you have any white hyacinths in your Animal Crossing island, because she's looking for those.
White hyacinths. I don't know.
Okay, well, that doesn't really help me, but, yeah, so...
Are those on the bushes?
Huh?
Are those on the bushes?
No, I don't think so.
I think those are bushes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, man.
But I did notice my Switch idled, so she might...
Got the boot.
No, I don't think... She probably left before that, but...
I gotcha. Well, that brings us into our next topic today, folks. We wanted to cover what video games might be good for somebody to get into who, previously has not really been in the video game space. The reason that, we wanted to talk about that a little bit is because my girlfriend Dana, who I mentioned there, is prior to Animal Crossing New Horizons coming out on the Switch here, was pretty staunchly anti-video game. She just didn't really see the point in it. Never really enjoyed them. Didn't really understand what I got out of them.
You don't mean like... When you say anti-video game, you don't mean like... Burn them all.
Oh, no. She just kind of didn't understand, why they had the appeal that they did to certain people.
Right.
And so... What I did when all the quarantini extreme stuff started happening, I was able to track down a Switch, probably one of the last Switches in New Jersey at that point, and got my hands on a copy of Animal Crossing, and let me tell you, she is hooked. That woman has sunk a considerable amount of time into our island, and I mean, Nick, you've seen it.
Yeah.
It is very carefully crafted. She has terraformed every inch of it to perfection and is just kind of blinging it out with all kinds of cool design stuff.
Yeah, she has done a hell of a job. Whether it's, ideas she's found online and incorporated into the island or thought up herself, she is fucking killing it over there, man.
She really is. And I think it's interesting because... with a game like Animal Crossing, people make jokes. It's basically doing chores the simulator. But I think for a lot of people that kind of lower barrier to entry makes it a lot easier for them to kind of pick it up and get into it. I mean, I understand why if the first game you put somebody in front of is like Doom or StarCraft or Diablo or anything kind of more intense like that, why they might have a little bit of a harder time kind of picking that up. But with something like Animal Crossing, it's easy. Everybody knows how to chop wood. We all know in our brain, right. You take an axe, you chop a tree, you get a piece of wood. And I think they've done a really good job at making it super accessible to people who otherwise maybe wouldn't play.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. I know Kemi hasn't given Animal Crossing a shot just yet, but back when she wanted to start playing video games with me, we decided on Diablo 3 originally, and if you put it on like the most basic mode and like start from the very, very humble beginnings that we all started from at one point or another in Diablo, you're pretty much a god in that game. There's no real losing in Diablo 3 until you get to like the more hardcore, modes and levels, especially if you're playing with someone.
Oh yeah, I mean, you and I ran through that campaign and the expansions not too long ago, and it's just, it's not even. I don't want to say it's not fun, but it got to the point where I think we even did jump the difficulty up a bit because we didn't feel like we were getting kind
Right.
of our bang for our buck at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, it's Diablo. Obviously, isn't gonna be everyone's cup of tea for a first game, but like, if someone's looking to just like feel like they're killing stuff on the screen alongside you, that is, I'm like, you could probably give it to like a 10 and up, and they'd probably get the gist. Like, red highlighted enemies on screen, hit the A or X button over and over again, and they die.
Right, and then you
It's
get more abilities and you can kill stuff in cooler ways.
right, right. Like the nuances of that might keep slipping over their head as they level up. Like they might forget to go in and check it every time, or like forget to upgrade their gear to like better weapons. Because even Kemi had trouble remembering to do that kind of stuff off
Right,
the
but they
bat.
get there eventually, I mean.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's a learning curve, but I think it's accessible enough
For sure.
for some to just pick it up. I mean, even Ray, when me and him started getting back into some serious gaming for the channel, and a little before that even, was Diablo was one of the first things. I think another game that's probably pretty accessible to most people, that most people have played in their lifetime, is The Sims.
Oh yeah, I mean
Like
that's
I
true.
think that's
I
like
should have mentioned that Dana actually has played The Sims before. She's a big fan of that. But also The Sims is so unique in the way that it kind of functions. It's very hard to compare it to anything else at all. There's not
in the
really a
video
lot.
game world. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree with that. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
yeah. I mean, the house design aspect alone in The Sims, where you can go in and build the buildings with the walls and everything, that's
Right.
essentially like using SketchUp or like a virtual design program, like you would in an actual design firm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe a little more fantastical, but the same basic bones are there.
Mm-hmm.
I think something else that the next thing I have planned for her, once she kind of, you don't really ever finish Animal Crossing, but when she starts kind of running out of stuff to do,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna download Stardew Valley on the Switch for her and try to get her into that, because that again has that same kind of like management and decoration and style and building aspect all kind of rolled in, but then it also starts to bring in slightly higher level game concepts, like you can build the relationships with the characters in town and attend different events on different days, and you have that kind of overreaching storyline with the corporate business that wants to come in. I can't remember the name. It's
Well, I think the newer Sims games kind of touch on like the building relationships with certain characters and events and stuff like that. Maybe not the console version, but I have the PC version personally, and I know for a fact that that is a like I know they've dumbed the console versions down considerably. They've stripped them quite a bit from what they're releasing on PC, as far as I know.
really.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, man.
I don't know.
I don't
I
like.
didn't know anything
I
about
don't.
that. That's the first I'm hearing of it.
I don't think it's nearly as. I don't think you can do nearly as much, or like.
You heard it here, folks.
I don't think you can
Simgate
even get
2020.
the. I don't even know if you can get all of the same, like downloadable content packs. I think.
I mean, there is an absurd amount of downloadable content for The Sims 4 on
Oh, dude,
PlayStation.
you could spend, I think, upwards of $200
Oh, for
and
sure.
not have it all.
Yeah, some of the packs are 30, 40, $50. I mean, so we actually got The Sims 4 for free. I think it was included as part of the EA Origins pass or something, or maybe it was a free game. I don't remember why, but I know the base game itself did not cost me any money.
Right.
And then, we were looking at the expansion packs and stuff, and if you wanted to get, I think if you wanted to get the two big ones, there's the one where it adds, like the city and stuff,
Yeah.
and then maybe the one where it adds college. Those alone, I think, were like almost the price of like a full game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even for the PC, you can download, different versions and stuff. On PlayStation, those things are still full price. They're still like $40 a pop.
Yeah.
It's bonkers. It's absolute bonkers. I'm trying to pull up the price list now because I'm curious.
I think on the EA website where you can purchase the download packs and stuff like that for the PC version,
Uh
they have what's called a bundle deal where you make your very own Bundaroo.
huh. Black Friday Bundaroo, huh?
Your very own EA Sims 4 Bundaroo. And you take two of the major expansions and one of the smaller item packs or clothing packs or whatever,
Yeah, I gotcha.
and they smush it all together for a singular fantastical price. So like you're saying $40 for one, bigger content pack. Well, it's only $40 for the Bundaroo.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm
So
looking
like,
at.
you really are getting robbed the F blind on PS4.
Oh yeah, it's
Or
it's crazy. Here, let
EA.
me tell you. Yeah, scumbags all around. Um, so let's see here. So there are some preset bundles. All of those are like between 25 and $50.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and it comes with a couple things, but still, when you look at the rest of the list, it's just crazy how much you don't get for that kind of price. And I mean, I think that's we're probably not saying anything new here. Many people have talked about how DLC has gotten way out of hand. But hey, at least it's not a loot box, right?
Yeah, at least you know what you're getting. You know exactly what you're paying for. And if you want it bad enough, you get it.
Yeah, and then of
You
course,
say, hey, I'm happy with this because using this in my Sims game is going to make me happy. And that's what game was all about, really.
yeah, it's just about having a good time, enjoying life
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And then of course, for our PC brethren, there's you can always sail the high seas if you catch my drift. If you're looking for some of that content at a much less steep price.
Yes, sir. Some would say,
Yeah, what would some say, Nick?
free, perhaps?
Well, we don't like to use that word around here.
No free content here.
The shareholders, man. Think of the shareholders.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Other accessible games I can think of. Obviously, Minecraft is a big one. I think for a lot of people nowadays, because that opens up a whole can of worms into like a whole bunch of other games like Terraria or Minecraft. Really is a stepping stone for a lot of people to get into something else
It
in
definitely
that genre.
It definitely is, but I can understand like why for people who are not children, it can be a little bit intimidating for Minecraft to be kind of your first off, because it is essentially just it's an open world survival game where there is this kind of story that's hidden in there with going to the end and beating the Ender Dragon and killing the Wither and all that stuff.
Right. I mean, you could say the same thing about Terraria with all the bosses hidden.
Right, but you have to find that
Underground
stuff,
and
and
such.
just being dumped into an open world, that can be really that can be a lot. Having to kind of create your own experience. I don't know that that's the
Yeah, it's
easiest
not
thing,
everybody's speed. It's definitely
Right.
not everybody's speed.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing Minecraft back in the days of the alpha, and even then,
Right. Oh
as
God, yeah.
somebody, yeah, as somebody who'd been a gamer my whole life, that was huge. You know, Minecraft. I knew then 10 years ago, like, oh man, this is a game changer, and look at where we are now. It's still probably the most popular game on the planet.
I don't know if this was someone trolling in Twitch chat the other day or not, but people were talking about a Minecraft 2 release video of some kind that they announced.
Oh,
I forgot about it, and I never went to look it up and see if it was real.
yeah, I don't
So I'm
know.
gonna do that right fucking now.
I mean, I know they released Minecraft Dungeons, which I haven't had a chance to check out yet. I heard that's basically like Diablo Light with a Minecraft skin. Have you played that at all, or?
Uh, yes, that me and Ray actually recorded a couple of those for the channel. They just haven't been uploaded yet, or maybe they haven't even been edited yet. I'm not quite sure, but they are coming. Those of you who are looking forward to that, it's I find that game pretty enjoyable. It ain't half bad.
Yeah, maybe we'll.
Have you given it a shot?
No, no, I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I did, I heard it was pretty good though. I've heard good things about it.
I think it
And I
came free for us with our Xbox Games Pass.
Oh, cool. I do
Which
have
is
that.
how
I
we
just
got it.
don't ever utilize it. I'm paying like $5 a month for it to sit on my computer pretty much right now, but
You do the Xbox Game Pass?
yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
guess that
cuz you
does
can
work.
you can still get a bunch of the stuff on PC.
Yeah, no, there is no Minecraft 2. Someone must have just been trolling
Yeah, I mean, they've been saying there's going to be a Minecraft 2 since
for a
Minecraft
very,
1
very
came
long
out.
time. Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know that there will be. It seems like that would be such a
I
crazy thing to.
they've they've moved. I don't know if you've played Minecraft recently. Um, Me and Ray obviously have. We made those were some of our first videos on the channel. Uh, we um, they've moved on to like this system where it's on. Uh, it's very very weird. Instead of having like different versions for like every single um,
Platform.
console or platform like cell phones and what have you, uh, they've made it so it's like Minecraft is almost essentially universal, but uh, you can transfer like the worlds you create from console to console seamlessly
Okay.
if you're subscribed to what they call like the portal system or the portal something or other.
Okay.
And or you can make your worlds, and then they're basically you can get it on any console as long as you have your Minecraft login, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I think that's talking about the future of video gaming a little bit. I think that's probably something we're going to see more and more of. We already have over the last 5 or so years seen this kind of cross-play really rising up, and gamers rise up. Sorry, couldn't help myself. But it really, I don't understand why it's taken. No, that's not true. I do understand. It's because the people who run these companies are incredibly greedy. But I think crossplay is something that is kind of inevitable at this point, even with the PlayStation 5 and what are they calling the new Xbox? The Scorpion or something?
Nah, that was the last one, I think. I think this is Series X.
Okay, well, whatever.
Or
Whatever the
I
new
don't.
Xbox is.
Man, I kind of wish they just would have went, you know, 2, 3, 4, like.
Yeah, but PlayStation had a monopoly on that. Sony beat them to the punch. There was nothing they could do.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, man. um, Nintendo's had it in the bag from day one with the naming, like game.
Well, I
Um,
think Sony and Nintendo have both been pretty good. I think it's Microsoft who's really kind of having some. I mean, t- calling your third console the Xbox One, not a masterstroke.
ugh,
That was not. I will say
ugh.
that that was probably a marketing failure.
I just don't understand, man.
Yeah, and
I call it an X bone
yeah,
more
Xbone,
than anything.
and then now when you have a conversation about the Xbox, you almost have to specify which one. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
true.
But I think we've seen with like Rocket League and a couple other competitive games like that, you do get cross-play support. The only thing that's holding it back is I think this generation it was Sony. Microsoft was willing to do it, and Sony was kind of hemming and hawing, and didn't want to open up the gates, so to speak. But
Yeah,
it's
hopefully, them getting finding compromise with Disney this year, or within the last couple years. Hopefully, they can find compromise with. I know they're not the same division, but still, I hope Sony opens up their hearts to a little,
cross compatibility.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, I think they will because I think they know
spread a
that.
little love.
I think they know eventually that that's how it's going to go. Um,
I
Now,
kind of wish they'd leave it up to the game developer. Like if the game developer wants their game to be a cross-platform game, that they're able to just build it into their game, and like Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, they can all just shove it up their butts, man.
well, that is kind of how it works already. Like for instance, with Rocket League, when Rocket League was built, it was built with crossplay integrated into the code of the game. Right from the day Rocket League launched, the software functionality for crossplay existed. The problem was Sony initially refused to allow their servers to connect to that kind of global host or whatever you want to call it that would allow other people
Yeah,
to play against
yeah,
them. Eventually, they relented, and I'm pretty sure that that's one of the games they did allow crossplay for. And you can that's the problem is we pay for these individual kind of services, PlayStation Plus or what is it, the Xbox Live,
Xbox
right?
Live, yeah,
Nintendo Online. And because we're going through those services, that's what allows them to kind of gate that crossplay functionality. If it wasn't set up that way, then it wouldn't work that way. But we also probably wouldn't have three separate consoles. Obviously, I don't think you're going to ever have 100% crossplay compatibility. Like, you're not ever going to be able to play a Mario game from a PlayStation, probably. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I honestly, nor would I want to. I don't really see a point in going that far with it.
Right, but stuff that's going to
But like,
release across multiple consoles with a multiplayer
yes,
component, for
yes,
sure.
like let consoles and you know Big Daddy Sony, Big Daddy Microsoft, let them keep their exclusives. Let Nintendo keep their exclusives. Everyone has their exclusives, but like let that be the pull for buy my console, buy my console. I don't think that'll ever go away, but uh, I also think that we are um, coming to a point, like you said, where if the game is going to be released across all platforms, that you know, let the people play together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Let my people play.
Oh man. Um,
Sorry.
yeah, I don't know. You might want to cut that out. I'm not sure that that's in super great taste right now. Um, but wow, I really can't believe you just did that. I think when you have why should the Call of Duty lobbies be separate, right? Why does it matter if some 15-year-old and some 10-year-old and some 35-year-old on Xbox or no, I'm sorry, on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, respectively, are all playing in the same lobby? Now, I can understand the argument that maybe PC should not necessarily be able to play versus console folks in a competitive environment, just kind of due to latency issues and things like that. But as far as at least letting the consoles play on competitive gaming like that, I really don't see a reason why you wouldn't.
Right, right. The only console I could see being left out of that like scenario is Switch, because it's just not as powerful. Like, and I don't think that's a problem because I don't think the Switch will ever have as much. I don't think it'll ever have the games on it that Xbox or PlayStation get. Like, I know the Switch just got Overwatch, but it just got Overwatch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Overwatch has been out, 5 years now? And the Switch is just now getting it. And I get it, the Switch wasn't out back when Overwatch first came out. I understand that. But you weren't going to see it on... you weren't going to see it on the Wii U back then.
Right.
And it like, graphically, compared to Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, it is not so great, man. It really isn't.
Well, right, because the Switch isn't designed for stuff like that. It's designed for Pokemon and Mario and, Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's weird.
Speaking of Overwatch and when it came out, you just reminded me of something. Do you remember where we were when the Overwatch beta dropped? Because I sure do.
Yeah, were we not in Key West at a hotel?
Yes, we were. We were in Key West, and we brought my PlayStation 4 to play the Overwatch beta on. Much to the chagrin of some of the other folks in our party, because we were not missing that limited time exclusive beta access.
We were convinced that anything we unlocked in that time was going to transfer to our actual games. So we were fiends. Fiends for them loot boxes.
We're getting
nothing transferred. Not a goddamn thing. We were all fools.
Yeah, I think we got an emblem and a title or something. Maybe like a player icon.
Probably. But I barely ever play it on the PlayStation anymore, which is a shame. I only ever play Switch or Xbox, depending on who I'm playing with right now.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun though. That was what a time! What a time to be alive when Overwatch was first coming out.
For real. Honestly, you remember during the beta, we weren't even aware it was only multiplayer. Everyone was like, this is Blizzard. There's going to be some kind of fucking story mode to this thing. There's gotta be. Lo and behold.
And then
ain't no fucking story mode.
Then it took them several years to add any events with a story purpose.
That and the whole reason I brought up Overwatch on the Switch is when Overwatch 2 drops, Nintendo Switch ain't gonna fucking have it.
No?
It's not. No, I genuinely don't think so. unless they're planning on, they would have to take the better graphics that they're putting into their Overwatch 2. They would then have to dumb those graphics down to at least Overwatch 1 standards and then dumb them down just a little bit more. And I don't think they'll do it. I could be wrong. Blizzard could be chasing that dollar bill, but I personally I think Blizzard will say, you know what, Nintendo, if you're riding out the Switch for the next however many years and we're not going to see a better console from you, you're not going to see Overwatch 2. Which is kind of crazy because they pushed Overwatch so hard for the Switch.
So it seems
they pushed how all your skins and everything are going to be transferable.
Yeah,
Overwatch 2.
It seems like Overwatch 2 is announced as coming out on all of the current gen consoles, including the Switch.
It is?
It is, but they also don't have a release date for the game, I don't think, yet.
No, there's no release date for any of the consoles, so...
Right, who knows?
I just can't believe that they're going to do that to a game that's pretty much graphically superior in every way. They're going to dumb it down by at least times 2 to get it to work on the Switch. And God knows how big it's going to be.
Oh, interesting. And they're adding story missions and...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I didn't know if you... I didn't know if you were aware of that. They're also going to make it so you can change your character's abilities.
Yeah, I see that here. The hero missions.
And the characters are now going to have levels. You're going to be able to level up your Overwatch heroes, finally.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that was always, oh God, back when I first started playing Overwatch, it always bothered me so much that I couldn't level up each hero. I don't know why it bothered me so much, but I felt because when I play games like this, I'm kind of OCD about it, so I want to get every character to level 5 and then get every character to level 10. And then, so on and so forth. That's just how I enjoy playing my games. It sounds crazy to most, I'm sure, but that's how I like to do it.
Right.
So, I consider myself a jack of all trades and a master of absolutely none. I don't know. I really enjoy playing games like that because I feel like instead of mastering one class or one specific skill set or whatever, I'm trying out everything the developers are putting out for me. I'm testing everything to see which I like best and see which works for me. And even if I find that, I'm going to switch off it eventually anyway and see if there's something better or see if I hate something more. I don't know,
yeah,
That's just how I do.
I'm kind of the other end of that. I definitely have a style of play that I enjoy.
I feel
in
for me,
most types of games, and I will usually stick to that class or character type for until I've played through most of the content of a game, and then maybe I'll branch out and try second or third playthroughs as something else. But yeah, I typically, I'll go for an assassin or an archer. I really like ranged classes and stuff. My first boy in Overwatch was Hanzo. And even now he's still my guy. I'm a big Hanzo fan. Using those bows.
I don't know when the last time you played
getting those bow shots from across the map, buddy. Oof.
Obviously you can still bow shot, but his other abilities have changed drastically.
Yeah, they took out the scatter shot, which I'm a little disappointed by. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they took out that. They gave him a double jump. I don't know, what was his other one? Oh no, the scanner arrow is still the same.
Yeah, that's still there.
Instead of scatter shot though, they put in this Oh, geez, it's like a.
It's
You
like a
hit it?
it's like a rapid fire, right?
Yeah, rapid fire. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like very rapid fire.
Yeah, which
It glows all blue and just.
and it kind of works for the same thing that Scattershot was good for. So I guess it's not a huge deal because what Scattershot was always the best for, at least in my experience, was you used it almost like a shotgun. Hanzo is obviously designed for very ranged encounters. And if somebody got up close, you could be in some real trouble. But if you got that scatter shot off like point blank, you could pretty much kill somebody immediately. If you were lucky, you might be able to get them in one shot, if not one more arrow after that. And I think the rapid fire kind of does the same thing, but it's not quite as effective. At least not in my experience. I haven't played much since they changed his abilities, but I've played a match here or there, and
I think the most useful thing I ever did with Hanzo Scattershot back in the day was back when someone would be coming in through a tight hallway or something. You just or like standing in the doorway to one of the buildings or whatever. You just shoot it in there, and almost every time you just you get that little death skull on your screen because you got him.
right. And that
Feels good, man. Feels good.
Yeah, it was really good for tight spaces and up close. It was very much like you had like a shotgun, just firing right
Just
off.
waiting. Yeah. Yeah, it's sweet. It's weird because they still have his voice line in there about it. Like you can equip it as a voice line now. So like they kind of threw it in as like a nod to it because it wasn't like an equipable voice line back in the day.
Yeah, he would
Now
just
it is.
he would just say it when he shot it.
He would just say it. Right.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. It's like he says something about geometry, I believe.
Simple geometry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Hanzo. Ray picked that game up for Switch, and we started playing that obviously as well, which is on the channel. And we got into the Halloween event first because that's when it released. Overwatch released for Switch in like mid-October, and then literally 2 days later they dropped the Halloween event. And I can't imagine that was a coincidence.
Dr. Junkenstein or something, right?
Yeah. And obviously the skins they release and everything for Halloween, it's always some spooky good fun over there. So Ray liked it a lot. Immediately loved Genji and Soldier 76 as playable heroes. Those were like, the toppest notch.
Yeah, I do love some Soldier.
Yeah.
Genji's not really my boy, though. I'm not so good with him.
No, not a lot of people are, but Ray has proven if you are persistent enough with someone you're not good at, you can actually be pretty decent with them. Because Genji's supposed to be like one of the more, difficult characters to pick up and play as, but
Well, yeah, he brings a sword to a gunfight, man.
literally sword and shuriken to a gunfight.
But a good Genji is very hard to defend or go up against. I gotta admit, he's hard to counter.
Yeah, it's effing crazy.
If he's good, the key there is he's got to be played by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right. But I don't know. The only thing I really else wanted to talk about left in this episode here is E3. Obviously, it's not happening this year. They canceled it because of the Rona.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. They canceled it because of the Rona, and we're probably just gonna get like a bunch of a whole bunch
Webcast
of different.
events. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just streams upon streams
Man,
from.
do you know what I wish? Do you know what I wish they would really do? And they won't because nobody is this cool.
Mm.
I really wish they would bring back the style of announcement and event from like the early 2000s where E3 was basically like had the funding of a Las Vegas stage show and
Dude, oh yes.
and you know Tony Hawk would like kickflip through a screen and then I don't know Crash Bandicoot would like tackle him off the stage as Master Chief dropped down and was shot in the face by Mario with a fireball or something.
Dude, the days of like G4 TV coverage and that I feel what you're putting out, man.
Yeah, bring back a
I
little
feel
pageantry. Give me some narrative to your presentation.
I feel like Nintendo has pulled that off at least a couple times in the last few years with their Nintendo Directs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Going the digital format for that kind of stuff is not the worst idea. Like, I love it in person, but like the guys that have taken over for these companies in recent years have proven time and time again that they are not great at this PR stuff. And
You know what they should do?
what?
I just realized, man, this is gonna bring all of our worlds together.
Okay,
What
very
they
excited.
what they need to do is take the people from WWE who are in charge of doing the special matches like the corporate ladder Money in the Bank match and the Undertaker AJ Styles match.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to put them in charge of doing the presentations for the big three companies. Can you imagine if you took that brain trust and you put them on these
Oh
shows?
my god! What the hell?
What?
Sorry. Ray, just quick edit note. Definitely edit that out on my end. Holy fuck!
Yeah, what just happened?
The cats got into a war.
Oh boy.
All right. On with the show.
Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if they did that? If they just dropped those WWE creative teams onto these presentations?
Yeah, man. They could really bring some freshness to what has become a stale E3.
Yeah, now the E3 things are always they're talking about, well, we project we're going to have this many units and we think that this is an all-in-one entertainment system. God, I really hope they move away from that this generation. Do you remember with the Xbox One, the PS4?
So many times, dude.
Dude, they talk so much about like, oh, this will replace your cable box. I don't need it to do that. I just want to play games.
And guess how many cable boxes it replaced?
0?
Probably 0, dude. It's insane how much time and effort they put into that shit when it had no effing. There was no meaning to it. They pushed PlayStation TV so hard.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm not just saying
collapsed.
this was only Sony. Like this, Xbox had their bullshit that they did too.
Oh, that's
Don't get me wrong.
well. Yeah, Xbox, Microsoft were the ones that were saying it would like replace your cable box and your whole home entertainment system.
Yeah.
And it was just I mean they both made that mistake, just like they both made the mistake of trying to do motion controls when Nintendo had already not only done that but done that as well as it was gonna be done for a generation.
Mm-hmm. The only thing the motion controls became good for on PS4 was the VR headset.
Right, and that's such a niche
which I
application
own, and
because
it's
there
like-
are other VR controllers that serve, the same purpose but more fluid. Like,
Right.
Yeah, that big wand with the orb on the end of it. I still to this day don't understand how that made it through an approval and testing and sign off process. There had to be people that lost their jobs over that because that was just such a colossal waste of time and money.
I think they saw the Wiimotes, and they were like, how do we make that Sony?
Let's put a big ostentatious glowing ball on the end of it.
We'll just make it look like a dildo microphone.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Just a phallic microphone.
Just
that
gotta hope.
glows in the dark.
Gotta hope Grandma doesn't mix it up with her back massager, right?
My God.
Well, with that, folks, I think we're probably going to.
Yeah. Did you real quick? Did you have any predictions
For what?
for E3 or E3 or anything you hope to see from the big three?
I don't know, man. I mean, so I
Any
think
games in particular, or
I think Microsoft has to give a little bit of Halo Infinity juice. It's been so long since anybody said anything about it of any substance.
it's true. It's so true.
You know, they have to be holding it back for that, is what I'm guessing. For Sony, I don't really know. I feel like Sony is really clear cut as the kind of the favorite going into this next generation. And I mean, you know, there is some debate and speculation about that, but at least I really think Sony, it's their generation to lose at this point. I think they have a really impressive slate of first party titles lined up. I think the exclusive games are going to be just wild. I mean, look at some of the stuff that came out even in this most recent generation. Things like Horizon Zero Dawn.
which already has a planned sequel, as
Right.
well as Spider-Man.
Right, and then you have
Those
you
two
know,
alone, that's a console seller for me.
absolutely. God of War,
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 is crazy. That's an IP that they're gonna run for generations still, I'm sure. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, how they're gonna reinvent it now. But that'll be something cool. Maybe we could see the return of something like Killzone. The Killzone that launched on PlayStation, Shadowfall, I think it was called, was not super great. But I really like the Killzone IP, and I would love to see something cool come from them.
Yeah, that would be neat. I
Yes,
thought about Killzone in a real long time, man. Wow.
I know. The Hellghast are still one of the best designed enemy forces in a space shooter that I've ever encountered, I think. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they do come up with, and especially now because of everything going on in this kind of post-COVID world. Not post, but, you know, now that it's happening.
Right.
Like, how is that going to play out now? What are these console launches even going to look like? Who knows? We don't know what it's going to look like, you know, a week from now necessarily. Who can guess what it's going to be in 6 months, a year? Also, I would love to see some next gen footage of Cyberpunk, because I'm pretty sure they have that working for the next gen consoles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see some of that next gen footage for Cyberpunk 2077. But that's I don't know that we'll get that.
I don't even know if that gameplay demo that we watched right before this, I'm not even sure if that's going to be like a new IP of some kind, or if it was just purely for the purpose of
The demo.
Right. You can never really tell with those things, I feel.
Yeah, unless you have something that's like that PlayStation 3 one I mentioned for Final Fantasy, where it's such an iconic thing.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the times those tech demo things are just for the demo, but who knows? That did look interesting.
I mean, it's way too early to tell, so it could end up being something, but it felt more tech demo-y than it did actual new IP of some kind, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would also be cool to see. Sorry, I just keep going, but now that you got
No,
me
I'm
thinking about
fine with
stuff
it,
I
man.
want, I think it would be really cool to see something in the vein of The Last Guardian or Shadow of the Colossus for the new PlayStation.
I think I heard about a game not too long ago that was supposed to be in a similar vein. Like, it's not the same creators or anything, but it's supposed to be in like a similar vein to Shadow of the Colossus, but like a mix of Shadow of the Colossus and like I think Monster Hunter was how it was described,
Okay.
which sounded pretty neat. But I forget the name of it. I read it in like a Game Informer a few months ago, so.
I
But
gotcha.
I'm sure you could you could find it with a little googling.
Yeah, definitely seems cool. And then one other prediction I'll throw out there, because that's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
what you asked me for. You didn't ask for a wish list. You asked for a prediction.
Well, no, I mean wish list prediction. Who same
Yeah,
difference, honestly, man.
I
Especially when it comes to E3, dude. You're tossing darts at a dartboard blind right
yeah
now.
yeah. You're throwing darts at a board in another room with your eyes
Yeah,
closed.
for real.
I would love to see something from Capcom and Resident Evil. Now I know Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil Resistance just dropped not that long ago, but
Hmm.
the rumor is speculation mill abound that they've been working on a Resident Evil 4 remake as well, and that they might be dropping that at the kind of to straddle the line between the generations. And boy oh boy, Resident Evil 4 is probably one of my favorite entries in that franchise. It totally changed the game. And I know it's very controversial. Not everybody loved it, but not everybody loved it as a Resident Evil game.
Right.
But I would love to play back through that on a brand new photorealistic, crazy, whatever you want to call it, hellscape mode. That would just be incredible.
Um, is there anything that?
What about you, man? What are you looking forward to? What do you think's gonna happen?
Well, like you said, I think Halo is probably what I really want to see most from Microsoft. From Sony, uh, I I want to see some more Spider-Man. Whether it be maybe uh, another final DLC of some kind, or maybe the start to another uh, 2 or 3 episodes of DLC for the current one before we go into the next one. Maybe anything really Spider-Man from Sony would be wonderful. Wish list wise from Sony, like this is some real deep wish list. Maybe a new kind of Twisted Metal game announced
Oh,
for even PS5
yeah, that would be
would
cool.
would really really make me have a bit of a freak out. Um, uh, Nintendo, even though it's a long shot, I'd love to see more Breath of the Wild 2 footage, if possible. Or any new Pokemon info always makes me fanboy pretty hard. So,
A new Metroid would be very cool as well.
yes, yeah, I totally agree with that. Um, that's it for the big three. I'm pretty sure for myself. Uh, God, Microsoft, you really haven't had any good exclusives in like the last, oh God, so long. Probably close to 10 years now.
I
It's
mean,
like Gears and Halo. They're living and breathing off Gears and Halo.
yeah, pretty much, man.
Like I literally can't think of a third off the top
Um,
of my head.
I mean, the State of Decay games are Microsoft exclusive, which I know they're not as big as either of those other two we mentioned, but they are pretty
Right.
fun. I do like
Yeah, yeah.
those.
It's true. It's true. Actually, I don't.
Oh, one.
Dude, State of Decay might not be State of Decay might not be exclusive anymore now that I'm thinking about it.
I mean, I think you could play it on the computer, but I know it's not on the PlayStation.
Yes, I believe you're right. I think I am thinking of the PC, but that's Microsoft anyway. So, yeah, man. I can't think of anything for myself in this category, but I thought it'd be a fun question to ask. Anything that you like don't want to see announced, like anything that you'd be like,
Oh my
"Oh
god.
no,
Oh.
why are they doing that?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no."
Oh, for sure. So I already mentioned a couple of them. Any mention of trying to replace other home entertainment products, get that right out. That goes right in the trash.
Yeah. That's okay.
Um,
Yeah, I meant like
A
maybe game wise or something that they're trying to remake and redo in like a maybe a shitty way. I don't.
any kind of attempt to redo motion controls again, I think is just horrendous. Don't do it. Stay away.
I think they learned. Especially Microsoft. I think they learned from the Kinect that it was a ginormous waste of time and money. I think the military and like schools and stuff for like special needs got more use out of the Kinect than
The
anyone,
consumer market,
really.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Um, I'm trying to think. I would really.
Well, that is one thing I did like about E3 in the last couple of years. Like Microsoft released that controller that's like mappable for like anyone with any disability
Yes.
to be able to play
Yes.
anything.
Yeah, that's
That
really
was
cool.
Fucking incredible. That was absolutely incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. Having more accessibility is always a great thing.
Yes. Yeah, and not
Um,
just the accessibility of like someone who's never picked up a video game before and like, hey, look at this. This is actually really fun. I can do this. No. Like people that are can't play video games in conventional ways.
Right. Yeah,
That are
absolutely,
now
man.
able to because of this stuff. It's really incredible. I mean, there are videos on Reddit and stuff of like fathers like mapping and editing those specific controllers to make it so like literally anyone can play. It's heartwarming and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's-
back to what
you love
wouldn't
to see
wanna
it. Right, yeah, something I really don't want to see, and we didn't really touch on this too much. We didn't touch on this at all. But I don't want to see from the developer announcements that we get. So we talked about Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, but also Bethesda and Activision and all those other companies. They start to do their own stuff now too, their own little presentations.
Yep.
I don't want to see Epic Game Store exclusives. I hate what Epic is doing with buying up rights like that and keeping them off of Steam and other distribution platforms for the PC.
Yes.
I think it's trash. It's incredibly. It's the wrong direction for the business to be moving. And I really don't want to see. I know we will see some of that, but I really would prefer if we did not. And then also, I don't want to see this marketed either, the new generation of consoles, as if they are computers. And I think there's a real danger of that because of the specs on the new consoles. I think they're really trying to highlight the performance and how it's like, they're going to argue that it's almost as good as a modern PC and whatever, blah 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 blah. But I don't want them to focus too heavily on that, because the point of a console is not to be better than a PC. It's people who game on consoles want something other than a computer to game on. There's a reason for
Right.
it. They like the exclusives. They like having it up on a television. They like having that other thing to use. So I really hope that they don't try to go too hard in that realm.
I think Microsoft might be a little too. I think think you might be a little too late on that one for Microsoft. I feel like they are slowly pushing out of the console business and tricking us to being into being PC gamers, whether we like it or not.
I don't think you're wrong, really.
I truly and honestly believe probably within the next two console generations, Xbox will just be branded as like a gaming PC, and it that's what you'll be that's what you'll be buying, that's what you'll be paying for.
Yeah, bold of you to assume that humanity will exist for another 2 generations of consoles, Nick.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but I'm just not sure how to feel about that, because I don't know if you've seen pictures of what they're planning on making the new Xbox look like, but it is
a computer. Yeah, it looks like a computer.
Yes, it is basically a computer, man. So I wouldn't even put it past them for this to be the last generation console of Xbox, because especially with the way they've been going with naming and like no exclusives recently in recent years, it really just feels like that's kind of what they're trying to push towards, is getting us used to a world where your Xbox is just a gaming PC brand. Like, hey, instead of Alienware, pick up an Xbox. It's gonna be weird. I'm not gonna like it, especially if they can't keep the price down. Like, if they're expecting me to pay Alienware prices every 10 years when they release a new Xbox, or probably less than 10 years now. That's how the generations keep going here. Every time I feel like it gets less and less in between the next one, you know?
Yeah, the window gets a little smaller.
But yeah, no one's gonna be shelling out like even close to $1,000. No one's gonna do that, especially now. Especially now. It's I don't know. It's a shitty market to release a new console in anyway, so I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the release dates, but we know they're coming. You know, there is a.
Oh yeah, they coming.
Yeah, there's going to come a point where they have to release them, whether the world is in a really good position for that or not, and you know,
whoever's going to buy it is going to buy it already. Like,
yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the price point is going to be an interesting talking point, because, I mean, I think the PlayStation 4 was like $600 at launch, and that was a crazy amount of money. And you know, I got one pretty early on, but I happened to be in a position where I could do that at the time. I don't know that I could go drop $600 on a PlayStation 5 when it comes out. You know, especially with things the way they are. But you know, we'll see. Hopefully, things are a little bit more stable by then, and we'll be able to make stuff like that happen.
Right.
Or maybe they'll keep the price down. Sony, if you're listening, please. I've been buying your consoles for literally since they've existed.
Oh my god, for real. That was the first console in my household. Was an original PlayStation.
I think I had my brother's old Sega Genesis first, and then I got a PlayStation 1.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. My dad picked it up for himself, and he would play like Tomb Raider and Twisted Metal and stuff, and that was before I knew or really gave a shit about video games. You know, it was all still like almost in its infancy back then, man.
Yeah, that was the real boom.
It's insane. 'Cause for a while, like you know, you had like Pong way back in the day, just the two battles and the one pixel ball.
Yes, I'm pretty familiar, Nick.
you had Atari and all that stuff. That's like newborn video game industry, and then you got into the
I mean,
late
the Super
80s.
Nintendo is really the game changer.
Yeah, man. You had a lull in there though for a while where people were like, "Is this gonna still be a thing, or is it just gonna kind of fade off? Like, is this it, or is it dead?" But then it came back, like late '80s, early '90s. Boom! It was back in full force, and it has never stopped being a thing since.
And it never will.
No, 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 no. It's like it's almost inevitable. I feel it's weird.
Well, yeah, it has cemented itself as a staple. Prior to the PlayStation 1 era, there really, like you said, video gaming was kind of a very niche thing. Even the Super Nintendo, it kind of brought things back from the brink, but it wasn't quite enough to make sure that the industry wasn't going anywhere. Once you had the release of the N64 and the PlayStation 1, it was off to the races. Once that happened, there was never not going to be a video game market and people who were into video games. And I mean, there was discussion around the time of the console generation turn there with the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. Well, is the cost going to be too prohibitive? Are kids going to be able to get this from their parents? Will people be able to afford it with the state the economy is in? But the PlayStation 2 is still one of the best-selling consoles of all time, I think, when you look at the numbers.
And I'm pretty sure it is still in the top spot. It still holds that title, my friend.
Yeah, and that's I think it's at this point anybody who thinks gaming is going anywhere is just not living on the same reality that we are.
Right. No, there's just too many companies have too much invested at this point for it to go anywhere at all. It's kind of crazy.
That it is.
Yeah, man. You said something about wrestling earlier, and I just wanted to bring up real quick something that is a kind of a hot button topic in the WWE right now, and that's they're doing this storyline with Jeff Hardy, where he is being framed by Sheamus that that he had gotten drunk and hit Elias with his car, and like the cops came and arrested him on SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
Oh man!
And yeah. I know you see the problem with this as I'm speaking it to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with this, Nick.
I know.
There are several.
I know. It genuinely upset me as soon as I saw it. It was fucked up, man. And I just wanted to get your opinion on it real quick, because even on WWE Backstage with your boy CM Punk, he was talking about how using a storyline like that, it's a slippery slope. Like,
oh yeah, and I mean,
especially for someone that actually had like addiction problems in the past, like someone's sobriety. This is what Punk said. I'm taking this pretty much from him. He's like, someone's sobriety is a very like fragile and real thing, and like, even if Jeff said, yeah, I'm all for this, great, it's cool, like, you're toying with something that's like, not necessarily something that you want to, like, I don't know, bring up or like put on blast like that.
It's
anymore.
Somebody's struggle with sobriety is not a punchline, right? I think that's the real problem there.
Mm-hmm.
And that reeks of Vince McMahon. That story that smells like a Vince original if I've ever heard one in my life.
Punk, Booker T, everyone on the show this past Tuesday when Renee Young was questioning them about it. It was just like, this is a weird way for creative to go. Like, this is strange. This is a little messed up. Probably a little more than a little messed up. Like,
Yeah, no, I would say it is significantly not cool.
yeah, I don't know. And with Matt Hardy going over to AEW, where he has even straight up come out and said, "This is where I plan on finishing my career. I don't plan on going back to WWE," and it's nothing against them. It's just, this is where I feel I can give my best performance for the last years of my career, is over here at AEW. And everyone's like, yeah, man, go for it. But, like, Jeff Hardy, for the last years of his career, he picked WWE. And I feel like Vince is kind of, or whoever, I don't know who made this story. I don't know if Jeff's okay with it. He obviously is if he's doing it, but, like, unless he was literally super duper gung ho about it, and this came directly from his, like, straight out his dome, I can't justify them doing it, and I can't justify him being like, this is where I want to spend the last years of my career, while his brother is, being utilized so much better over in AEW, and, like, they could finish their careers together over there. But that's how I'm feeling about it. I feel like they are kind of abusing the fact that Jeff Hardy wants to finish out in his home of WWE.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's kind of par for the course. I mean, as like we've talked about this on other podcasts.
Yeah.
As long as Vince McMahon still has the reins of that company, it's never going to not be a bad place for workers.
Mm-hmm.
The man is he's a cartoon villain,
Yeah, honestly, that's all I had for this one.
Yeah. Sounds like a wrap to me there, bud. Do you usually do an outro with this thing, or you just kind of let it die?
We can say our names one more time and let the people know where to find us or what other stuff we have going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Mike Kane. We do the Monster of the Week podcast. I play with Nick and Ray. That's at BATBcast1, I think, right? I don't even know what our Twitter tag is right now, honestly. I probably shouldn't have said that.
That's okay, man. That's okay.
I think I'm at HURIKANE Hurricane on Twitter. I don't really tweet much, but I tweet good stuff sometimes, so maybe check it out. I don't know.
Yeah, Manzari Bros Gaming. We've done Under the Ring Skirt together. We've done, Monster of the Week, and we plan on, me and Mike plan on starting a gaming series of some kind at some point. Not sure what.
Yeah, we're talking.
We've discussed
we're
GTA,
talking about it.
We've discussed some other stuff, but we're toying with some ideas, and we'll be there. We'll be on the channel. So yeah, thanks for joining us for this special video game, slightly wrestling, slightly quantum weirdness edition of MBcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was a great time. I look forward to being back on the show.
Yeah. And that's about gonna do it for us. So, thanks for listening, and stay safe, stay happy, and
we'll see you soon.
have a goog one.